What's up, guys? NJ Slot Guy here with another fantastic interview lined up for you guys with the one and only BDSlots. Big Daddy in the house, my man.
Woo! What's up?
He's got his Cleveland gear wrapped. Look at that background to him, and there's a diehard Cleveland fan right here. Do you want to tell everybody? You want to tell everybody our special password for the interview tonight and what I made it?
Not preferably, but I will. So I go to get the email to jump on, and it says, "What's the password?" So I had to look back, and it literally is brown stink.
Brown stink. That's the end of that.
Which, unfortunately, you can't disagree. But yeah, you got to keep the hope alive.
I will
tell you this. Yeah, but I will tell you this. This is one wall. I'll give you a little quick tour.
That's beautiful stuff, man, as a football fan. Trust me.
Oh, there's my other one, which, yeah, great timing on this one. Yeah, awesome. And then there's my Cavs wall, baby.
He's got it wrapped around. He's ready to go, man.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Love it. Love it.
That's awesome stuff, dude. Look at the hat he's got on, the chains. That is a diehard football fan right there, ladies and gentlemen. And BD, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, no problem. Basically, I as you can tell, Cleveland, Ohio. Born and raised. So we've been here. It's not like we moved around. Born and raised. Been through all these winters, which are awful. So if you live in the north, you know what I'm talking about. And I was a football coach up until last year for the last 15 years. So I coached high school football for the last 15 years at the same place. So, and then this year I am actually doing something a little bit different. I went to our rec center, like our director of our recreation center, because I don't know how because I know you coach football too. I don't know how your junior program is, like your younger kids program. Ours was like almost non-existent. So I would get kids at high school who were like, what's a line of scrimmage? What's this?
Rough.
And I was like, that was more towards the last like 3 or 4 years I coached. I'm like, this is nuts. So when I knew I was kind of phasing out of it, I met with him, and what I do now is we started a youth program, and I'm a director of the Cleveland youth program. So it's not my area that I like as much because I'm not hands-on with like the kids and coaching, which I love. Now it's more of the, setting up where to play, setting up equipment, setting up all that. So it's a little bit different. It's more of a directorial job now, but it keeps me around the game, which I love.
That's awesome, man. And you are juggling all of that while also having a channel in this space and trying to juggle and do all of that. I'm sure it's not, it's obviously not easy, especially from the months of August all the way until right now. Just ended, literally. If you made it to the championship in any league, or in your case, high school obviously goes longer than the kids do. You're going into Thanksgiving, so that takes away a whole quarter of content, filming, whatever it may be. Now, with that, how did all of this stuff start for BD Slots? How did you decide to do it? What made you do it, man?
You know what? It's an interesting story because I'm not one who's been around the community for a long period of time. When COVID hit, which was 2020, 2021? Yeah, 2020. And honestly, it was bored like everybody else. I was kind of going through, and our casinos were closed. And I've always loved to gamble. Our casinos were closed, so I just stumbled upon gambling content. And I was like, holy cow, they have gambling content. That's awesome. Because it was kind of quenching that thirst of not being able to go. Right. So I was like, so I started watching, and I saw the slot channels. And I like slots. I started with tables, which I prefer, but I do like the slots. And I saw the larger channels, I think is a safe way to put it. Some of your bigger channels, some of your big bets. So when the casino started open, I thought, man, you know what? I'm gonna try this, but it was a very weak attempt, and we're gonna leave it at that. Because I went and I thought you had to bet $50.
Okay.
$75. I'm like, all right. So I went, and I'll never forget. I took 2 videos. I took $1,500. I took 2 videos betting $50 and $75. I couldn't even use them because neither one was over like 3 minutes. That's how much I hit nothing, and how quick betting $75 just went whoosh. So that $1,500 was gone immediately. So I talked to my wife, and I'm just like, yeah, we're not going to do this. Like, I don't have the money to hang with these guys. This is nuts. And, so we kind of put it on the back burner. So I was watching. Well, then I came across, because I watched more of the big channels, I came across that there was a smaller community, that there was small bettors, smaller community, who personally I liked better because they were more personable. They were like more interactive. There weren't 2,000 people in a live stream. So I started following, and I'll be honest, some of the first channels I followed, ironically, was yours. Tim, the Big Payback. I followed him. And then I even found smaller with like Yoshi Slots was a channel I found early on. Gamblers Unknown. He actually is the one that we did our first event with, one of his major Chasers events. So I started seeing, and that's when they started letting me know, like, people gamble smaller. And it's just, do you have the personality? So my wife, I told her, I'm like, well, there's a whole community of this. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. I love being outgoing. I'm kind of crazy. So I'm like, let's try it, see what happens. And then she turns to me and she's like, well, here you go. Your BD slots on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. I go, what are you talking about? She's like, I reserved these a year ago when you were watching the channels, because she's like, I thought you would want to do it. And ironically, what we blew up on quickest was TikTok. We were at 10,000 within like 6 months.
Yeah.
And but that's when you could live stream. So she had been posting videos, and if you look at our TikTok, it's kind of funny because the early videos, they're only like 50-cent bets. And that is not me. So you could tell they're all her, and she would just put them up, and we'd go live here and there when you were allowed, and it just blew up. So then we started on YouTube, and then we met Gamblers and kind of blew up when we did his event, and it's just been going great ever since.
Yeah, again, man, you're not, just to sit around sort of, you're very entertaining, man. You know that. And you know that.
Yeah,
and that came with establishing your channel, just like it did with me, man. I didn't know what to do. I was quiet. I watched it. I was like, I can't do this. It was the people that brought it out of me, and now I could sit here confidently and say this is, where I belong in a space that has to do with entertainment. No matter how you cut it, it could be slot machines, it could be food reviews, it could be whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. Now I know what I'm capable of thanks to that audience and thanks to those people, thanks to other creators. When I hear stuff like, man, I watched you before I became a channel. Like, you're the reason I started the channel. It makes me feel incredible, man. And it makes me look at it in a different sense of, you're really onto something here. And you are. So, a lot of people that I have spoken to, that I have run into over the last year, just met. It was, oh, yeah, we started on TikTok. Then TikTok became like, for some reason, just fell off when it came to the gambling creation. Now you put up stuff. I got something on it. It's got 600,000 views. One of my pinball hits. And then I put out my biggest Buffalo hit of all time. It's got like 342 views. I'm like, what the hell happened here? So many people had to make the transition to go from TikTok to this one, or they started on Twitch. Now they're on YouTube. Now they can't break through that YouTube, mold and get those numbers going because of thousands of channels now.
Right.
So thousands of channels, and you, I'm sure, have inspired however many channels as well. Have you met people like that yet? I started a channel until I started to watch you. Have you met those, creators?
Oh, yeah. You know what? We did an event. This past June was our first one. It was called the Seatown Slot Slam. And it was the reason that we wanted to do it was because we ran into smaller channels who, exactly what you just said, were like, oh, it's Big Daddy. I know you. And they're like, hey, how are you? We have a channel. And they had a lot, they were brand new. So they had like 50, 100 subscribers. But just in Cleveland alone, we found, I want to say 4 or 5 smaller channels. And we were like, you know what? I know they go to Vegas and they do events. I know they go to Reno, they do events. I'm like, let's get an East Coast event, kind of like Sloticon last year. I'm like, let's get something for the East Coasters and let's rep Cleveland. I love Cleveland. Not as much as baby, but I love Cleveland. So I'm like, let's, put on a show for it. So what we did? We had 10 teams. The biggest one was Tim was in it, the Big Payback, which was awesome for him to hang out. We took the 10 teams, divided them into 2 teams, and then you got 30 minutes to take $100 and build it as much as you can. Then we counted all the money up, and the team that had the highest amount went on to be in a bracket against their own team. But the cool thing was we put all the money, we combined everything as we went through each round. The girl who ended up winning won $1,250.
See that?
So she got to take home $1,250 for winning and a trophy that we made, which was awesome. And so it's one of those where, like, I love promoting the small channels because I think there were a lot of people who did it for us, like Gamblers Unknown, letting us in his first event. We've had, been shout out by Tim multiple times, big payback. Who really was kind of like you just said, there's one channel that really helps you a lot.
Yeah.
I would legitly say, and I wish they were around more. I love them to death, but the Slot Bandits.
Oh, the Slot Bandits, man. Absolutely. Corey and Rick, great people. Great people.
Oh, Rick, you know what? I actually never had met Corey because when we went down there, he had something going on, and when Nate came up here, it was just Rick. But I'll tell you what, Rick is one of, if not the nicest guy you will ever meet in your life. He got us permission to film at Tampa Hard Rock, and this was years ago before it was kind of open like it is now. And he was just so generous. He really helped us out, kind of moved a lot of his viewers over to us. That's how we kind of blew up. Is we did a live stream with him, and we gained so many subscribers from him. He was just such an awesome just friend. And seeing as he was a real big channel to take the time and come hang out with us and come lead his viewers over. And he did a live stream with us. So we did like a dual live stream. He was absolutely incredible and definitely probably the guy I would credit the most with helping us grow.
That's awesome, man. Big shout out to Corey and Rick. I can absolutely vouch for that. I've spent time with them on multiple occasions. Both great people. Rick, awesome. And again, entertaining, right? Like they're not just these guys that go in there, regardless of the slot play, because the slot play is up there, and that makes it entertaining too. They don't need. They could play 10 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents, whatever you want to call it, and they would be just as entertaining. And I think have the same exact following. Shout out to the both of them. Hope they're doing great. I actually did text Corey like a month or two ago and got a response. So I have nothing, besides that. I wish I could collaborate with them more. Going down to Tampa and all that stuff, Florida. That's where I usually ran into them. Rick came up to Jersey once. Big shout out to the Slot Bandits. Let's just start there. But that's how it should be in a community, and I wish there was more of that. However, BD, we are in a loving community that I feel like most of the percentage of the bigger channels would do exactly the same, like you said with Tim. Like, how awesome is it that Tim was able to join you in promotion, do all that stuff? That's exactly what he did with me. Tim existed. Right. I watched him before I was a creator. Tim was one of the first people that I befriended in the community. And he helped me all along the way with spam emails and, and connections here and there, getting me out to Ohio, which was awesome. Which is why
that's the first time I met you was at Düsseldorf.
Right. Which is why I say Cleveland rocks, man. I loved it out there. I wanted to bring my guys out there. It's still that East Coast connection, even though you guys are, 2 hours that way from me. We still got that. Right. Hey, we're still on the same Eastern time, right?
Yeah. You want to come this year. If it fits into your schedule, you want to do the Slot Slam. It's in June.
If it can fit into my schedule, I would fly out to Ohio to grab a sandwich with you. You understand me?
There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be all about the slot play and all that.
Right.
I love you. You're awesome. I haven't seen you in a year, which absolutely boggles my mind. But luckily, we do stay in touch, and obviously, fantasy football is the one thing that keeps us together. And
I'm going to tell you honestly, I hate to admit it, but he's doing better than I am. So we'll say
go open the app and go look at week 2, week 3, and week 4 for me, and then you will realize, wow, John should be in first place by a mile. I have never lost so many games so close. However, I do have one of the lowest points scored, which really bothers me, heading into the playoffs of what my team's really going to show. I don't have a quarterback anymore. Dak's gone, right? Trevor Lawrence just died on the field, basically. I'm on Aiden O'Connell leading me into the playoffs. Oh. Can you imagine? So that's what I'm dealing. That's what I'm dealing with fantasy football. But that's how we stay in touch. But guess what, man? You knock YouTube right out of this, and we're not even doing that. We don't know each other. We pass each other. We wouldn't even share all of these stories. We wouldn't have had the big Potawatomi blast we had last year, which you actually have coming up in a couple of days, man.
Can't wait.
Tell me about it.
It's I think it starts Thursday, but we're not going in Thursday. We're getting in Friday, and then it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I got to be honest, because we were there last year, and I mean, I would say there was a total of probably about 15 to 20 people, mostly channels. John, I kid you not. There's over, he said, 40 to 50 people. And there are, I think, a handful, like 10 to 15, that are just like viewers,
Right.
that just want to like see everybody. So I was stunned how it blew up, to be honest. But I'm so excited. Potawatomi was very cool. We didn't go in the infamous solstice room. Still debating if I'm going to go in this time. But
wait, did you make your way into that room last year by any chance?
we stepped literally, like, we opened the door, stepped in, and I don't smoke, and I was like, no way. You literally smoke probably 50 packs walking around in that room.
Just a little loop. Just a little loop.
And it was it looked like just a little, like, so I couldn't believe how bad the ventilation was. Yeah. And I'm like, I couldn't go in there. So we turned around and walked right back out.
Some of the best stories come from the solstice.
I know, I was mad I missed a couple of them.
I can't listen. I deal with those crowds, right? Because I'm always like in that zone. When I go out to smoke, it's not like there's a bunch of normal people outside. It's not. Yeah. We're not normal people. Right. So now you put it into this room where if you hit a hand pay in there, you might be in trouble. You understand? like you might be in trouble at some point going in there. After what I witnessed, absolutely. Never in my life, I have never dealt with the stuff I dealt with Rhino Man in that room and Joe and Jackpot Joe. Anyway, I hate that I'm going to miss that. I wish I was there with you guys, and that wrapping it back around to the community. That's exactly what this is about, right? The cool thing is, not cool, but if this did end tomorrow, I bet you were still going to do that. You know what I mean? I bet you were still going to have that meetup at Pato. You make lifelong friends in this. Now you have an audience to, supply your entertainment to, your good character to, and it all just gels together, man. You're used to it, like you said, with the high school football. The football comparison is so great because you're developing kids, and you know how rewarding it is at the end of all this, watching them grow up. Right. Graduate and all that stuff, then they come back to you, or they hit you up, they keep in touch, whatever it may be. Yep. It's the same rewarding technique, and even crazier because these are kids that you're developing. You're spending 40 hours with a week, whereas you're putting out a slot video for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however much a week, and you still have people all over this nation that love you. They will fly out to Ohio. Like you said, there's going to be people at this Pato event that aren't channels. Last year it was 99% just channels. Right. And it sounds like it's expanding a little bit more now to include the audience. Do you know how awesome it is for those 15 or 20 audience member, whatever it is, to be in a place with 8 of the channels they watch, or 10 of the channels they watch, or even 3 of the channels they watch, and they get to meet 12 others? Like, dude, that's so rewarding for an audience. It's so awesome. That's why I love this stuff. Like, it's all about the people.
You know what? I totally agree. And I the one thing to tag on to what you're saying about the people, that is by far my favorite part. Like, when we're out, I don't know how some channels feel like when they're out in the scent, but I've had people at our local literally ask for pictures, ask for, just like to say shout out, whatever, shout them out when we're live streaming. And I love it. Like, that's my absolute favorite part of this. And, it's one of those where the one thing I think we went in this with was we were like, we're going to do what we can. And that's it. We can't put a video out every day. We both have jobs. Fine. We're not, the missus and I, we're not leaving those jobs, to do this full time. Right. So the coolest thing to me about the whole experience is the people that we've met. Like going to Wisconsin. Like, we wouldn't go to Wisconsin if it wasn't for like these
I didn't know that place existed, BD.
Right. And we've been to Florida to go to Tampa to meet them. We've been to California, to Vegas. I mean, it was one of those situations where literally for my 45th birthday, we kind of put out, I put it out to all of my friends I've known for 20 plus years, but they're all like, well, we have kids. We can't really fit in our schedule. You know who ended up going? Barbara playing slots and her husband. Because we knew them. We've talked to them. We love them. They like to cruise. They're like, when is it? We'd love to go. And we went and cruised with them. And I met her through the slot channel, which I've met some of the best people who I would go to the ends of the earth for. Yeah, Avalon in California, Avalon Slots. That's my brother. You, Joe, Tim. It's just the coolest people, and that's been the most rewarding thing for having done all of it.
Hey, Slots fans! I want to take this quick moment to remind you guys about SlotsFan.com, the only website that is dedicated to people who love watching slots. There are over 250 streamers ranked amongst the community, in-depth biographies, interviews, big win stories, casino reviews, and more. So guys, make sure you are going and checking out SlotsFan.com. Click the link in the description below, bookmark the site, because there is new content coming out every single day. Thanks again, Slots fans.
Do you remember the first time you were recognized by any chance?
You know what? The first time I was actually recognized, and this was like, holy cow, it wasn't even at my local. It was in Reno. We went for the Reno Fest, which not this past year, the year before, and we hung out with Big Slaughter and Ivy. And there was a lady who came up. She saw us recording, and she's like, "You're Big Daddy." And I was like, "Dude, this isn't Ohio. This is Reno." I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, my God, I love you." She's like, "I love your channel. I watch all the time." And I gave her a hug. We took pictures. Yeah. It was super, super cool. That was the first time I ever had like a, wow, you're Big Daddy moment.
Yeah, and what did you feel at that moment? What was that like?
Oh, it was one of those, like, I mean, it was such an incredible high is all I could think, like, wow, like this person like knows you, they want to get a picture, and it's just like, you know, you're a normal person, you know, you're just like, I'm a normal guy, I'll hang out with you, we can go grab a beer. And we did end up having drinks with them and all that. And it was just, yeah, it really was such a high to be like, you know, you these people really appreciate what you're doing. And
yes.
that made it all worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And those people, they obviously watch you. They made you a part of their everyday life, or like you said, however much you post, they made it a point to bring you into their life, you know, and you don't realize how much you mean to them. This person didn't exist unless they were commenting every, you know, you have the people that you memorize, like the comments and stuff.
Yeah.
They come up to you and say, "Hey, you know, I'm Jamie."
Right.
Okay, I get it. Most of the people you run into, they're not like, they're just watchers. They don't even comment, whatever it is. Right. And then they unleash on you and go, "You got me through this, and you got me through," and it brings that sentimental value to it. And you just, it even more, like it feeds me even more. And I go, I cannot wait to get my next video now.
Right.
Or, I love when I'm filming and somebody comes up, because I don't stop sometimes. I'm like, "Come on in."
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
Come on in. And they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious. Come on. So they went from just like going up to you and saying hi and having that moment to, wait, what the hell am I going to be in your video? Like, this is awesome. Right. You went from here to here with them. Like, right. And then, you know, that gets spread out from when they go home. They're going to tell people at their dinners, you know, how awesome you are. You'll be sitting coaching a football game or whatever. You have people talking about you at a dinner table over in Reno. Like, that's craziness, man, right? Like, that's something you never would if I went to you 5 years ago and said, "Hey, man, you're going to be on YouTube," and like people are going to run into you across the nation and recognize you. You'd be like, "No, I'm not." Right? Like, you got that same mentality. That's the same exact thing I did. And with all of this, it came all of that, and it just gets bigger and better every single day. And now it turns into creators. Now I want to meet all the creators. I want to meet all the creators in the space. There's half of them I still haven't met yet. You know, that's why I love these events. I love doing things for other channels. Like, I'm never like even when I'm with Tim has double the numbers I do. I'm like, oh, you know, like I'll jump in your video. You know, don't come in mine. Like, don't worry about me. I want to jump in your video. I want to get you as many, you know, things as I possibly can, as many collaborations, as many, you know, Tim and I set it up to go live, you know, back to back after each other, send everybody over. Like, you know, like that's how it should be. That's how we all get further together, you know, and most of us know this. I wish I could say all of us, but most of us know this, you know, we can all become that much more successful if we all work together, BD. But sadly, you know, we live in a world of human beings and Mother Nature and all that fun stuff, and we can't please everybody, and you can't. What are some of the cons that you've dealt with having a YouTube channel?
It's, well, the number one con, but the thing is, I don't know if I call it a con, but only because I would be gambling anyway. So, like, I just like to gamble. But obviously, a lot of people, it's kind of funny. They're like, "Do you know a hint on hitting that machine?" Like, just because I put a camera in front of it, they're like, "Do you know the trick?" Do you know the trick to like win on that? And it's like, no, I'm just filming. And what I think a lot of people don't realize, and this is the biggest con I find, is how many videos do you shoot? And I'm sure you probably do more than even we do, where you're almost like, I can't even use that. You know, it's like I got a machine. It's like that was a 4-minute video and I just got destroyed. No bonus, no nothing. And so the con of the fact that we spend so much money and so much time trying to get content for people that is good and everything else, but it's expensive. I mean, it gets really expensive. You know, especially if you're running bad. In all honesty, you know, that is what I would probably say is the biggest con, and the fact of, at least for us, which I don't know if this is necessarily a con, but like you said, the time commitment. I mean, if you really want to make a run at it, and I mean, you got to drop videos, go lives, you know, and like a lot, and we have set days we go, but we really can't go beyond that because just with schedule and everything. So it's one of those we try to do as much as possible. But definitely the con is it's an expensive route to go with YouTube for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we picked a hell of a trade here. Let's go play slot machines, right? And that I always use that with the comedy of explaining it to people, going, why didn't I just go to a restaurant and start eating food on my phone instead of going to a stupid casino? But that's what I did. I went once a month. Like, I was watching other people play slot machines on YouTube. That's what made me, you know, I've seen people do the food reviews and stuff like that, but I never thought anything of it because there's never anything entered. They're just eating a piece of food. The food is the primary source, right? And
right.
That's what I saw in this community as well, except I was watching the people that were entertaining me. I wasn't letting the machine do the work for them. I loved East Coast Slots. I loved his voice. I loved the way he did the frozen record stop, and, you know, then he would show the ticket. I just loved the way, you know, he went about it and the demeanor. So I was like, oh my God. And sure enough, then you become a creator, then you start doing this. And sure enough, you see on that YouTube panel, you know, other viewers also watch. And the number one was East Coast Slots. And I'm like, okay, so see, this makes sense. Like, this is why I was drawn to him. I do the same thing. All of my people are drawn to both of us. You know, it made sense. At least it made sense. Where like Tim and I have a separate audience. Completely separate audience. They call us the yin and yang of the slot community. You know, because
I can see it. I can see it. You like a lot more old school games.
I do, but that's what I was like doing. BD. I was going into the back of the Nugget in the high limit room. I was having a cigarette away from everybody. My parents were back there, and that's where I would sit and play the slots. Otherwise, I was playing craps and blackjack and roulette and everything like that. I wasn't playing damn slot machines. Then it became that. Then I started watching them, which made me freaking play them more because I'm watching Tim play this machine. And I'm like, oh, the East Coast guy just played $75 on pinball. I'm going to do that, idiot. You know, and not realizing what a toll that would take after a while, you know, and I had to scale back. But, you know, and that's how it all becomes, at least it all, you know, makes sense.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of an interesting just story. When I turned 21, I never played a slot.
Yeah.
I never played a slot until I was probably 34. Never touched a slot. It was craps, blackjack, carny games, Texas Hold'em, all of those. Because there's always something. It's like something grabbed you, and you know what it was? Basically, my ADD got worse. I used to purely play poker. That was it. Just poker. And I used to play in the main event, not the actual main event, but the events they had during that time period.
Right.
And the one event was like a 12-hour, like day one was like noon to midnight.
Right. Okay.
And I got to the final. It was like 800 people. I got down to the final 100, and it was our last break. I went out to the slot machine. I see a machine. I'm like, whatever. Throw $20 in. Max bet, which max bet on that was 10. I'm like, I'll just do 2 spins. My second spin, I hit a $3,500 hand pay.
There it is, baby, and it got you.
The payout for the tournament, first place was only, I think, like $5,000 or $5,500 because it was only like a $400 or $500 entry. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, I just in 5 minutes won what I've been grinding for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I couldn't play poker after that because I went in. I actually made the final table, which was funny. But I went in. I wasn't looking, and I was going all in. I was being that guy that most poker players would hate. And the hand that got me to the final table, I had 2-5. I was like, that's Mark Price. That's Cleveland royalty, baby. So I'm all in. This guy snap calls me with aces. I'm like, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Flop was 2-2-6.
Ooh.
This guy berated me as the worst player ever. And I was like, oh, I'm 100% an awful player.
But I won.
And I'm like, guess what? I'm still here and you just lost. So, I'm definitely one I'm going to snap back at you. But after that tournament, I didn't play any other main events, tournaments. I went purely to slots. And it sucked because I had a pretty good run when I first started and then was even more hooked. And then that's when the opposite side came in.
Yeah.
But that's what got me hooked. I'm like, the fact you can win so much money in a matter of minutes instead of grinding for days. It was the appeal.
Days. Yeah. How could it not be? And did you gamble on sports at all at this point? By any chance, just throwing in straights and parlays and stuff, or no?
No, you know what? The only sport I gamble on, and it's only because I like doing ridiculous parlays, is football. So, like for football, I'll do like 17 parlays.
Right.
I'll put $100 down, and I do like 7. Where if I hit, I'm going to hit for like 8,000.
Right.
Now I've only hit one in my life and won like 3,000 because it wasn't as many. But I've never hit another one after that.
Yeah.
And every year I put 100 on the Browns to go to the Super Bowl.
Why not?
So I know you may be thinking you're burning money, but damn it. It's going to happen one day.
Hey, listen, that 100 stretches a lot further than 100 if you put it in a slot machine. At least yours will last 17 weeks. Or, I mean, in your case, the season's usually over by week 12.
I was just going to say
I beat you to it. At least you get
Damn you.
I knew it. I knew you had it loaded up in there. You're like me.
Yep.
I absolutely hammered the Niners, even when they were like making their Super Bowls and NFC championships left and right. I never think they're going to get to the next round. They put me through absolute hell last year with being the playoffs. Green Bay, they didn't make it that way. It goes all the way to overtime, all this stuff. I can't relax, and I haven't seen him win a Super Bowl in 30-something years. Beavis and Butthead were the halftime show. We're like the halftime clip. They were having like their own Beavis and Butthead. I remember it. It was in my room, my bunk beds. That's how young I was. The last time they won a Super Bowl, they were the first to win five undefeated, 5-0 in the Super Bowl. Now they've lost. Now they're the Cowboys. That sucks.
Oh.
That really sucks.
You got to be honest. You were my first person I texted when the Browns beat the Niners. I was like, let me text this guy.
Thanks, man. You did. You texted me last week or the week before, too, because of fantasy. That was funny.
Right.
You bastard. Don't you complain. Go look at the
I did actually look.
I was sharing it in chats with my friends going, look at this. I lost by 0.1. Then a week later, I lost by like 0.2. I go, guys, this can't be really happening to me right now.
It's like, I got to be getting punked. Ashton Kutcher's got to jump out of here.
I'm watching the Niners struggle. I took David Montgomery by accident in the draft. I'll never forget. I wanted Devin Singletary. I remember saying it in the chat going, I didn't want to take him. What the hell? But he was in my queue, and I happened to hit draft day. That was obviously a user error. Sure enough, David Montgomery turns into the best draft pick I made this year in 8 football leagues.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Him and Gibbs, I would play both of them.
Anyways,
like from the same team. I don't care.
I'm going off on a fantasy football tangent, but we can do the fantasy football season. It's starting to get in the thick of it. Playoffs are coming. Lots of stuff's happening. Niners are going nowhere, so they're last in the division. NFC West, they were just in the Super Bowl last year.
That's crazy.
I can't do this. I got to fly out to Ohio. I got to be around the Cleveland fans a little bit more. So, when I complain, then you guys can say, what are you complaining about? You have, and then I could feel better, be like, oh, he's got a great fun. All right, sorry. What is your biggest win?
Since the channel or just period?
How about let's do both?
Okay. My biggest win ever was 11,500. And ironically, it wasn't even the grand.
Pre-channel?
That's what. It's not on the channel. That's why this was before we had started it. But the funny thing is everyone's like, oh, it has to be a grand. It wasn't even the grand. The grand though was only 12,700. Right. But it was on it was a $15 bet on the Lock It Link Piggy Banking. Oh, yeah. And I filled the screen. And it was got the whole screen. I filled the screen probably about 5 times in my life. I just absolutely love that game. It's my favorite game. But I filled the screen a few times. That game, ironically, is my biggest hit on the channel too. And this, I think, helped us to kind of blow up a little bit. When we did the Major Chaser event, we were playing Piggy Banking, a $10 bet. We filled the screen and won $7,500. And then, when was that, Ange? Back in March of this year, we were playing Piggy Banking again because the Major was up to $6,900. It hadn't hit in forever. And on a $750 bet, we didn't even fill the screen, but we were Major eligible and it hit. So that my biggest hit on the channel is definitely the $7,900 on the Major Chaser event. And then my biggest hit off of it, but on the same machine, was $11,500.
Both of the same machine. So
same machine.
So you love this little Piggy Bankin', do you?
Oh, love that.
And how could you not love it more now? Obviously, because of that bias towards it, right? Of course.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So that's how I, almost bankrupt my life, was by playing these high limit channels. When I came at high limit videos, when I first get 75 a spin, 50 a spin, and all that stuff, and 6 years ago, for some reason, jackpots came out a lot more frequent than they did, and lightning links came out. I will never forget. I hit a major on opposite sides of each other within a weekend. And I'm like, I can't hit a major. I hit a major once every 9 months now. Like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, I'm playing these $25 spins, $50, $37.50, whatever it is. I'm getting a bonus for $132. Like, what the hell am I doing? I can't hit a minor bonus for the life of me. I go play low limit, the 1 cent to 10 centers, and I'm doing $7.50 a spin, which is like a bet X4, X3. Sometimes minor bonuses are dropping, triple minis are dropping. I go, this is actually fun. Like, I'm actually enjoying this. Where, again, you're playing I'm putting in $1,500. I just did this with Jackpot Judo. We're playing a machine. We put in 1,000 each or whatever it was. 20 minutes maybe it lasted, which is a lot, but nothing. When a bonus comes out, you get $232. Like, I'm like, what the hell's happening here? Like, I'm not enjoying this. This isn't fun. Right. Like, this isn't fun. Double top dollar. I didn't play it as much as I did before I had a channel. So I had good moments with double top dollar. I remember going over to double top dollar. I gotta pick this one. 3,200s here, and the 5,000 came out, and we're having a great time. Then you start filming on it, you start playing it more frequent, right? Oh, then you have those terrible nights of double top dollar, and I'm getting one offer on a $2,000 session for 20 credits, and that bastard has the gall to say, "You're a winner," and it pans down. You're a winner. You're lucky to pull this thing right off the ledge and do office space, or do Macho Man elbow drop on the top rope here, because that's what I really want to do, and just going through that battle of it becoming so repetitive and these bonuses not paying out and doing $50 a spin, $50 a spin. Like, what the hell am I doing? I got to scale back. I was posting every day. Then I had to post every other day just to keep up with it. Then I'm like, how much money are you spending here, you idiot? Like, even my accountant was like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't right. This isn't correct. Like, you're losing more than you're. You can't. This can't. Suffice. Luckily, thanks to my my loyal audience, which you have as well. That loyal audience. They didn't care what I did, BD. I scaled down. Yeah, I get the 1 or 2 a-hole comments of, "Oh, you must be broke now," and it's like, thanks for your comment, man. Like, thanks for. I really appreciate it. The other 134 comments are all from the people that love me the most. Going, "This is awesome." I never realized how much I related to my audience more by playing a more beautiful bet. That's like 9. I forgot what the number is. Somebody gave it to me. Whatever the percentage is of, it's not low limit, but in our community it is. But that $5 sweet spot's like 90-something% of the gambling community, and it's like now I just related to all those people that much more by doing that, and that'll get you that much further doing that, relating to your audience. Like I said, always do that.
One of the best piece of advice I actually ever received was from Rick of the Slot Bandits. He, the biggest piece of advice, and this is a guy, you know, Rick, I mean, 25 a spin, 50 a spin, you know, when he came to Cleveland, I'll never forget it. I've never seen a live stream this disgusting in my life. He hit $1,000, then probably 7 more hand pays. He took the Jack downtown for over $40,000. I had every machine he sat at, because we'd hold a machine for him. He'd come over, jackpot. He'd then, like, literally, we kept telling the one girl who's, you know, the attendant, we're like, just stay with him.
Just stay right here. Just stay here. I'm not aware.
Because he's locking up, like, banks of machines. He could not miss. But I'll tell you what, the best piece of advice, and I hold to it today, and I don't care what anybody says. He's like, don't start betting huge above your means. He's like, don't even start it. He's like, because if you start it and that's the audience you get, you'll never go back.
You're stuck, yeah.
Because one of the things he saw was people were trying to bet big and then just to get an audience and then drop, and they would actually lose people. Yeah. And he's like, because once you set that bar here, he's like, people want to see it. And he's like, you know, and I tell him, I'm like, sometimes we'll do a high limit stream, like where we're like betting $10 or $12 or whatever.
That's a bonus. It's a bonus for your audience, you know?
Right, occasionally. But I go, normally we're around $2.50 to $3. Or it could go, actually, I should say $2.50 to like $5, $6, around that range. That's our go-to area. And I kept what Rick said and did that. I'm like, I'm not going to do these unbelievable bets because I can't sustain that. You know, and if you can, you have the money, good for you. And it's just not, you know, the situation we're in.
So now knowing the community, seeing how the algorithm works and the views and stuff like that, and I could be a living example, I would give that same exact advice to anybody. That is, you know, it's funny. That's one of the questions I was going to ask you. What's some good advice you could give a new creator or, you know, some audience members out there? You literally just answered it for me, so you know we could skip that part, but it couldn't be more true. You know, I was just saying that, and how I had to realize it. I battled myself for months, going, I can't lower my bets, man. This is how I got these people. Thankfully, I have such a loyal audience. They didn't care. You know, yeah, I'm sure I lost a couple, but everything seemed to sustain, and I couldn't ask for more because I was terrified to make that move. I was going from 30 to 50 a spin to 5 to 10 a spin, which is still, by the way, high limit. You know, people get that mixed up because, you know, we have this community out there, people doing $250 spins, $500 spins. You know, shout out to Handpay for all that, the stuff that he does. But he's also entertaining. But people can't take that and go, oh, all I have to do is do $200 a spin and I'll be Mr. Handpay. No, you idiot. Like, you need to not do exactly that. Like, he found his niche. He's able to do it, you know.
Right.
Good for him. Stay right there. I have no interest. I live through him. If I want to see $50, $100 spends,
I go to
his channel, or I'm with him. With him is crazier. I don't want to see any of you lose, whoever I want to see you guys hit every grand in the friggin' place. I have no reason to root against you. Obviously, I root for him, and I know when he hits, it's going to hit. Like, I'm here for this. But to watch those bad nights happen just as well, BD, I'm like this. I'm like, oh my. You know, because I'm sitting on a bad night going, how much did I just lose? I watch him. I go, what the? You know what I mean? What? There's a lot more digits than there should be, you know, in the loss. But that goes without saying, right? If you're doing $2 a spin, you know what you're capable of losing. Add 2 zeros to it and just do the math. You know what I mean? It's realistic in his sense, you know. But I want to watch those high limit spins. I'll watch you do that, my friend. I don't need to go to the casino. I don't need to do some special high limit, you know, session for $50 a spin. Ain't happening unless there's 10 of us. It ain't happening. Not anymore.
And honestly, I actually credit the big channels because they bring a lot of the people to the community, I think. Like I said, those are the ones that when I first just looked up random gambling, those were the ones that I saw.
Yeah.
You know, your Lady Luck, your NG, your Handpay, you know, all of those. And those were the ones I watch. And I mean, I'll be honest, I still watch them because, seeing the bet size, it's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. If they can do it, good for them. God bless them.
Absolutely.
But I'm with you. I'm like, no. I'm within a range and, you know, we're not going past that range.
No, make it special when you do, and it makes it that much better. Like now I realize I you can add new components to it. So like I'm sitting there, I'm playing the the dimes, and I'm doing 5, 7, whatever the lower limit lightnings on the 10-cent denom, they work different. Like on the high limits, 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, the other one is 255.
Lower one, it's like 255. And I'm like, I'm gonna have a lot more fun going up the scale. Like Tim told me he would do ultimate progressive betting. I never did it before, but now I'm like, it adds a different element to the video. Now you're rooting more on that bigger bet for something to come out. Like you've added a new element of entertainment, and there's so many roads you can go down for your audience to make that stuff happen and still squeeze in those bets. Yeah, you're not doing 15 a spin every single spin, but you're doing it every fourth spin. So what? Right. You're saving yourself that much more money, and now you're rooting for it that much more when you're pressing those buttons. You're kind of like, no, don't come in on 250. No, wait until I get to that 750, 10. That's when I want the 3 moons, Autumn moon is the first thing I think of. Autumn moon's been torturing me for 2 months. I'll punch this stupid. Anyway, let's not go down. Let's not go down negative lane. BD. We don't want to do that. We're talking about how great it is to have a channel and what you bring to this community, because you do. And the point of this interview, and I'm so happy. I hit you up yesterday. I didn't think we were going to schedule one for the 24 hours later, but I couldn't be more surprised with the 2 characters that I'm seeing in front of me that we could make this happen and still be entertained. Yes. And I want to show the world you. I want my audience to see you if they haven't yet. I want that whole Slots fan group. I want them to know who BD Slots is, because I think they should. You bring a lot to the table as far as entertainment. And then when I bring your character to it, that's a whole different story, man. You're all about your audience. You're all about, your football coach on top of it. That says a lot. That's bias. We can relate in that sense. You know how rewarding that is. So you have that rewarding part of it, and now you have a whole nother channel. You have a lot of people, to take care of and please, and you're doing it, and you do it well, and you should be, and more people should be seeing you do this, man, in my opinion, which is why I love it.
Appreciate that.
Of course, man.
That's the big thing. My channel, if you come to my channel, like I crazy.
Tell them what to expect when they come to BD. Tell them, babe.
Oh yeah, if you come to our channel and you think it's going to be kind of boring or just talking, I like dancing. I like giving them a little something like ooh.
Yeah. See, they don't know. Yeah, show them what happens, man. Show them what they're missing.
And so if you like the dancing, the craziness, the silly, those are the people that I love to come in. And a perfect example is now that YouTube's going to that vertical more. You get a lot more trolls. Oh, I love trolls. Yes. Because I'm like, if you're going to troll me, I'm going to shoot it right back to you.
Come on in, babe.
You're going to get it right back. I will say this. We are not and again, this is just purely because we're not trying to make a run at, advertisers and all this. Our chats get a little naughty. So if you come in, if you offend easily, I'll tell you right now, we're not for you. But if you're someone who likes to just have fun, laugh, feel like this giant idiot on the screen is hilarious, whatever, then I would definitely check us out, because that's what I like to bring to the community. I don't care if I win or lose. We're gonna have fun regardless.
We're gonna have fun no matter what. And dude, I can't wait to get into a video with you again. And have you're there.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna wear this?
It's fantastic. I'll put that. Bring that to the. I'll wear it. I'll wear it backwards.
I like it.
It's sick things when I play. And that's why I love you, because you're a sicko too. I played with you. We did the live stream together last year from Pado. It was all of us. Yeah. Big Slaughter was there. Joe, Windy City Frenzy. I remember. It sucked. The live. I remember it doing absolute garbage.
But remember, I played 3 machines down. I hit a hand pay.
But the banter alone and the craziness that's going on, that's what you want. You're coming. You're going to check out BD Slots. BD, before we wrap this up, I want you, can you share with me one thing that you have not shared with your audience, the community at all? Can you share with us tonight? Anything?
I was actually just thinking that and I don't get serious too often, but I'm going to go a little bit more of a serious route here, because it ties into something that you said a little earlier about how we are kind of like almost like an outlet to some of these people. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. This was a year and a half ago, maybe. It was a while ago. But I'll never forget it, because I actually received an email from someone who was just in we'll just say a dark place, a very dark place. And they, the reason they reached out in the email was because they were in a place where they didn't know if it was, if they could keep going, if they could keep fighting in their situation. And they reached out because they were thanking us because they saw one of our videos that unbelievably just popped up at that time. And one of the things I like to do in my videos is I like to put funny memes in them. And I don't care if anyone likes them, they just crack me up.
Yeah.
So and this person was just like, I watched the video when it popped up. I was literally in tears laughing. It was such a funny video. And then it went down a rabbit hole watching our live streams, watching stuff. And she literally thanked us because we saved her. And I don't know if she meant life or what, but
whatever. Yeah,
we saved her, kept her going, whatever the case may be. That hit home how important you are to some people. That was really what you were saying earlier, that some people, you are their outlet. You are, for whatever reason. Maybe they have a gambling problem and like watching you to get that need. Whatever it is, I literally got emotional about it, to be honest.
Did you not?
And it was like, because just having someone reach out saying that like you helped them to keep going and you don't even know this person, it really hit home. And that is something that we take as a responsibility, that we like to hear, that we've helped somebody get out of a hard time, that we've liked someone to keep going when they've been depressed or whatever the case may be. So hearing that, like I said, we've talked about like the time commitment, as you know, it's a lot to do this when you're working. But I told Ange, I'm like, forget the numbers, forget the views. I don't care. That is why we're going to keep doing it. Because people like that who grab onto that and might be, like you said, in a worse spot in their life, and you help them through it. And I still would love to meet this, and I want to meet these individuals. Yeah. Like, that's our goal. We travel a lot. We don't have kids, my wife and I, so we travel a lot. And I one of the things I want to do is get to an area where we have, like you said, loyal followers or people that, follow the channel, and we want to meet them. I don't care if it's an official event or if you ever just see us out. I want you to come up. Like, I love hearing that.
Please come up.
That was just the craziest thing I've had happen since I've had this channel, but I'm thankful it happened.
I don't want to say I'm happy that it happened to you, because somebody was obviously in despair.
Right.
To get to that point. I'm happy for the ending of that story, and think about all the people who don't comment. I say this to every creator. Think about those who don't comment, who stay quiet just because they don't want to, but they watch you and they have that same story, and you will never hear it. You'll never know about it. So act like there are hundreds of them in your videos. You know what I mean? Yes. Act like there's hundreds of those people watching you in your video. That you want to talk about being rewarding. Again, back to the football stuff, a different rewarding thing, a different sentimental, emotional thing, seeing a kid grow up, become something, not become something, whatever it may be. Then to hear that you saved someone's life possibly, and you didn't even know you were doing it. There's paramedics out there, nurses and doctors who physically save lives every day. You mentally saved somebody just because you decided to start your channel. That is incredible. There's no amount of revenue, views, likes, follows, shares, whatever it may be, that can top that story right there. And that's when I tell you, BD, there's more that you don't even know about, that you haven't met yet, that they don't comment, or they do comment and they don't want to share that, and they just keep that to themselves. But you are secretly getting through to them. They just love that session that you're going to have this week. That means the world to them. It makes sense, man. It does. And I'll wrap it up. I'm sorry, I said I would. It makes sense. When you go back to the days of before DVRs and all that stuff, when you grew up around the same time frame as I did. I have older brothers that are your age. Mm-hmm. And watching the same stuff, watching the TGIFs and the Nickelodeons, whatever, there was you had to be in front of that TV at Friday at 8 o'clock from 8 to 8:30. You stop your world to go do that, right? Mm-hmm. Now in a world of incredible technology, when you can watch anything you want, these people are choosing to watch you at your specific time, at whatever. That is nuts, man. And you need to take that. You need to take that and run with it, man. Like I
agree, brother.
And get those similar stories. get those creators together, spread that love, spread that knowledge and all that stuff, and what you're learning, we all learn from each other. The more we share these stories, maybe I'll have a Zoom 10 creator session one time of doing something like this where we all share stories like that, so we can absolutely see how important we are to this community, to our audience, and just to people in general, man, because it's true, we are. Even if you don't feel it, man, because of views or I only have this many subscribers, who cares, man? Think about that story you just said. That you could have 2 million. There are people that have 2 million subscribers that can't share a story like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So enjoy your numbers.
And that's got to be the reason, I think, why I think a lot of people got to do it, especially like you said, advice to new channels. One of the things I tell them is I tell them straight up the advice Rick said, but then I also tell them, I'm like, look, if you're looking to make money of these channels then don't even do it. I'm going to tell you right now, don't even do it. If you're looking to meet amazing people, meet new friends, meet just like I said, some of the people I consider some of my best friends are through this community. So if you're looking to do that, I say 100% do it. Yeah. And a couple of the small channels are now over 1,000, 2,000 subscribers just in our local Cleveland area because they did it. They did it for the enjoyment of it, which is what I think you need to do.
Love it, man. Trust me. I'm doing my best. Hempe and I are doing our best to put a massive event together, and I want every event to be more massive than the last. I want every creator involved. This stuff gets messy when it comes to the creators. My goal is to get all of you. I want to get everybody paid, taken care of. I want to have a massive event for everybody's audience to be at. I want to fill a casino. I want to be the first person to blow out a casino more than an entertainer would. You know what I mean? Because
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So that, those are the goals there. But my first goal on my list is to get a collaboration going with you as soon as I can, because a year is way too long to not see your face and to have to
I agree.
Now, we got to set something up. You know what? Ashpet, because I was talking to Tim, about coming in. I said it to him. I said, Tim, I miss Cleveland. Cleveland rocks. I need you in my life. I need that barbecue place that we went to as soon as I got off the plane. I need all that to happen again. So hopefully we can make that, like you said, BD, even if it's outside of an event, it's just hey, man, I'm headed to your area on these dates for 2 days. So we'll make something happen. I'm sure we will, man.
I can't wait. Looking forward to it, brother.
Listen, dude, thank you from the bottom of my heart for putting aside, 56 minutes for me. I really appreciate it 100%.
No problem.
Your fantasy league that you run every year for us. And dude, and after all these stories, first of all, thank you for sharing that story, by the way, too. That was a big thing. I'm glad you got it out there. I want more people to see that. And just another reason to go follow Big Daddy himself. You know what I mean? You're not only are you getting all that awesome fun and entertainment, just like you are with me, but look at the sentimental value and stuff and how much your people mean to you. That's enough to draw an audience member to you just because of that, and
I love all of our loyals, like you said. They're like family to us. We've actually traveled and met them.
See?
And a few of them who were there early on when we started, we've actually met them. So we consider them family now. A couple are coming to Pato.
I'm going to be thinking about you all weekend. I'm going to try to hop in some live streams while I can, and support you guys, of course. Otherwise, dude, I think I'm going to see you in Cleveland, hopefully. Maybe I can get you out here. We'll do something.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about it. You're
for sure.
You are in the 2025 plans. I promise you guys. Head over right now. Stop. Head over to Big Daddy Slots right now. Go give him a subscribe, a follow, a like, a comment. Tell him I sent you there. Show him all the love in the world because he deserves it. Big Daddy, I wish you all the success in the world. I hope you do get to 2 billion subscribers, because you do deserve it, pal. You do.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Good luck in Pato, pal.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.